Sziasztok mindenkinek! Hello everyone, my name is Christine, and I am the host here at the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, the show where we connect your modern life to your Hungarian heritage. We will build bridges between Hungarians who live in Hungary to those with Hungarian heritage who live in all other parts of the world. Not to mention the bridges that we will build between the generations. This podcast is a place where everyone is welcome, where you don't even need to be Hungarian or speak Hungarian to join in on the fun. We will talk about all the things that we love about Hungary, the Hungarian people, and the Hungarian culture, as well as the cool things Hungarian people are doing around the world. We will discover new things, review things you may already know, and we will have a lot of fun along the way. So, if you're looking to make that first connection to your Hungarian heritage, or you're looking to dig a little deeper, then you're in the right place. Join me as we grow this community and continue to connect the circles of Hungarians around us. Welcome to this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. This episode is the second in a series of 3 episodes about the stories, legends, folklore, and history behind many of the commonly visited tourist sites in Budapest and throughout Hungary. My guest for this series is Eni Almadi, and she is back to discuss some history and folklore that takes place in the month of February. So let's continue, and maybe you will hear about some places that you will be putting on your list for your first visit or your next visit to Hungary next February. Welcome to this episode with Eni Almadi, and she is back for her series about stories behind the places that you visit in not only Budapest, but in Hungary as well. So welcome, Eni. Thanks for being here again today.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, everybody.
We felt that it was so important to talk about this time of year because Carnival, as it's celebrated in lots of places around the world, is also celebrated in Hungary with many different things that I know you're going to tell us about, but it's called Farsang. So tell us how it was celebrated a long time ago, and then we'll go into how it's celebrated now.
Okay, then. So, Farsang, as we say it is between January 6th, which is the day of the Three Kings Day, and this is the last day when we have our Christmas tree. And they used to be we try to keep it up in this time, and after that we just take it down, and everybody started to get around the Farsang time. Farsang, came into Hungary maybe 70-74, and that one is the ball year of the night. Yeah, this is the ball time. Everybody who is listening or watching the TV or Netflix or something like this, maybe you are interested in the Bridgerton.
I love Bridgerton, so you're talking to the right person.
Bridgerton have got this ball season when as we know, Daphne was selected to the jewel or the diamond of the evening. And this is not a very unusual thing in Hungary as well. So the first time when we have got this, it is from during Maria Theresa. She was the queen of Hungary. She was the empress of the Germany and also in Austria, the Habsburg emperor. Everybody heard about the Habsburgs. So and everybody's know about maybe one of her daughter, Marie Antoinette.
Yes,
because she is one of that. Maria Theresa had 18 children, and one of was Marie Antoinette as well. So the ball season is started in there, and we have got 3 different balls in the past. One for the nobles, of course it's for the court, one for the common people, and the third one is the masquerade. But that one, it needed a very pleasing thing, so we need to get to Maria Theresa's acceptance to get it. And today maybe Farsang nowadays for the children, It
Okay.
used to be celebrated in the kindergartens. They used to get costumes in there. They used to be dressed up whatever they want. It's similar like the Halloween, but they not asking treats, not tricking or something like that. They just enjoy their time in there inside the kindergarten. It used to be held in February, maybe the early days, sometimes in the middle of the February time. And Marshang, it is ended middle February, 40 days before Easter, and the
Mhm.
last day it is the fatty or eating Thursday when the other people try to get into the maybe the trophy that is a very well-known Hungarian restaurant, and they get a big sale of everybody because you can eat whatever you want, but everything you want because that is the last. It was the last day
Right.
when you would eat meat and very big feast before started to prepare for Easter.
Right.
So this year, as I remember, it will be on Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes, this year it is. So it is connected to religion in that respect, that it's a celebration right before the Lenten season in the Catholic religion.
Yeah, that is true. That is right. It is like something which is after the big New Year's. It's welcome to the New Year. We try to make a little bit differently as well. And as I remember, everybody was really, really happy about this time because, as I said earlier, this time of the ball season and ball season was very important for us, not only for us but for everybody. We have got other food, we have got different food, and we have got other type of customs, for example, and the nobles, of course, they have their own respectful things, and the common people also have it. So yeah, everybody's like what they had in the common area, and there was some time when the common people tried to get into the nobles ball, and the nobles was involved in there too, and the nobles can get into the common area, and they just need to pay maybe 2 or 3 forints. Nowadays it's a little bit silly, but yeah, that was the price. They just paid it and get through into the common people. Nobody asked anybody, where are you from, where you are, who are you. They just
Right.
enjoy themselves.
So it started out, and there still are balls, as you said, but it started out with, very separate type of balls, but also a feast, like the feast that starts, the season of Lent. So are there still balls today? Is it celebrated similarly as in the past?
Maybe, but for the kids, because nowadays the balls it's a little bit differently. Now we have got a ball, but it is now on the summer day, and it is the Anna's ball. That is
Okay.
named after a very well-known noble girl who name was Anna, and she lived in nowadays Füred, Balaton Füred. That is a
Right.
place in Balaton, and they hold it on her name day because in Hungary we have got name days that
Mhm.
is very differently, and as just the maybe Poland and Russia is the only other two who have it. So name day, it is inside our calendariums. You can check whose name day is on the day, and when it's Anna's day, as I remember, it's for 24th of June. As I remember, they hold a ball, and they have got all of the strict rules what they had before in from these type of balls. The first ball girls need to wear in white gowns. They need to check what the dance rules is, which type of dance they will learning. So yeah, and you need to find a very good partner as well, because without that, it's not a very big night for you. So yeah, it is very different thing now. But yeah, children will really enjoy the time. I remember when I was a child, I was also getting to there. I costumed into a cat, then I was a witch, then I was maybe, as I remember, I was a Smurf. Yeah,
That's
Smurfs are
smart.
very good.
I like that. About what age do kids still celebrate this, where they dress up?
Then they stressed up maybe, as I remember, it started at when they in the kindergarten, maybe 3 or 4 years, and
Okay.
it's until 7 or 8, so the first or the second grade in the primary school, and
Right.
after that, there is gone. But as I remember, yeah, the teachers in the primary school not really get into it, but the kindergartens, the nannies, and also of course
Yeah.
they also do that.
I think that's really cute for that age because, to dress up is a lot of fun, especially when you're a kid. Now, I know that they do have parties that you can go to during this season in Hungary. I did see some online, at restaurants and places like that. So there are celebrations, just not the way they used to celebrate before. So have you ever been to a party as an adult for Farshang? Have any of your friends ever been to one?
When I was a teenager, I went for some type of parties like this one, and it was very good. As I said it earlier, yeah, it is similar to Halloween for in the
Okay.
US. But yeah, we are really enjoyed ourselves. We are trying to figure out who is looking for who, and we sometimes playing games to try just folded your eyes and try to figure out who is like who. We try to describe the others just few
Mhm.
words, and they try to figure out. And when they have it, they get us maybe a donut. Yeah, a donut
Oh,
is very good.
that's popular. So having a Farshang donut, are they generally one style of donut or is it any style of donut?
No, we have got a special one which is called is ribbon donut, and it's look like a fluffy big pillow which is filled with apricot jam. And yeah, everybody is around us, and maybe in Europe too, have got their own type of donuts for this time as well. And everybody have their own story how they invented it. This one, as I remember, for our donuts. Firstly, it was thought it is came from France
Okay.
because there was a ball and Marie Antoinette sneaked out from that ball night because she really, really bored herself. And she was undercover and she went out with her bodyguard, but she was very hungry and she saw a bakery which was open, but as I remember, she sold out everything. She only have got left bread, maybe dough of bread. And she said, please, they made for something for me. It is nighttime, of course. So she put into the fryer and the hot oil, and it was the donut itself. It came out, and it was very sweet. And she's putting some powdered sugar on the top, and that was the first one. But if you ask a German, and they told that there was a baker who died, and he left his bakery for his widow, and the widow was overloaded with the people because they used to do that to go into that shop, and she was very angry because everybody shouted and yelled where is the food, where is the baking one, and she got the dough but she have got in the first under her hand, and she tried to throw to the people but she missed it and it landed into the hot oil, and that was the first time when it's baked out. So everybody have got
Yeah.
this story a little bit differently. Ours, it's like a fluffy and puffy one. And yeah, as I said, it's very sweet one. And it is around the ribbon style because it is look like a ribbon. So, and the ring as well. So if an engaged pair, a couple share the donut during the ball night, everybody knew that maybe they get married or maybe a 1 or 2 months later because that represented the ring. So if they share it, that means they will get together as well.
I love all of like the customs and tales behind the symbolism of the donuts. And I think that's pretty cool. And like you said, everybody has different stories of how things came about, how the donuts were made. Was it Marie Antoinette? Was it the widowed bakery owner? I feel like that's the great thing about history and folk tales because, there's a lot of versions of how things came about, which was pretty cool. Like I said, Farshang, and like you said, it's celebrated, it's the carnival season. So my next question would be, do families celebrate it like in their homes or only if they have like little kids?
With the little kids is more commonly because the kids will really enjoy themselves. So sometimes the children who have got small children organize the party as well, like almost like a birthday party, but everybody have to get to customize itself. So yeah, it's
Right.
a custom party for the children. But they used to do that when I was a kid. It was so common. So yeah, I had it. And it is usually prepared maybe on that day's morning. Mother made some donuts for the kids. Sometimes they both it from the bakery as well. It is also a common thing. And they get together, they have that music and yeah, dancing and just sharing some sweets for everyone. So yeah, it was a common thing. But it is for the smaller children as well. The teenagers, they used to organize themselves for the party
Right.
like it earlier.
I guess any excuse to get together with friends, dress up when you're younger, get together with, your teenage friends and hopefully party appropriately, right? And eat donuts, which is great.
And that's right. Yeah,
And
because also donuts may be represented in the old times. If you eat more and more, you will get more wealth in the later time, and it is very good for us. So it was just like the lentil on the first day of January after the New Year's. Because if you're eating more lentils, you will have get more money. This is why we eating lentil soup, lentil pudding. Everything is lentil, made it from
yeah,
that one.
I love
And
all that. So that's great.
yeah,
But at least a lot of these folk traditions are positive things. They're eating it for good luck or wealth or celebrating Farshong. Another topic that we discussed, which is topical in the month of February because, we're heading towards the middle of winter now. We have our eyes set towards spring. Whether you want to discuss that as far as the calendar or a folk tradition, because here in the US we have Groundhog's Day. And the groundhog comes out, and if it
yeah.
sees its shadow, doesn't see its shadow, which I don't think is necessarily scientifically accurate. And I know that in Hungary, correct me if I'm wrong, there's something to do with a bear. Is that
We
true?
do the same with the bears. We do the
Yeah.
same with the bears. People gathering together in the zoo and watching the bear wake up and go and coming out from the cave. And if they see the maybe the mm, sometimes it's not work, but yeah, when they say the shadow, that
Right.
means the spring is near and everything will be turned more warmer nowadays, or maybe through 2 or 3 days later. And if not say the shadow, that means there will be more warming time coming. Yeah, we do the same as you do, but with the birds.
I live in New Jersey, and there's a famous groundhog called Puxatawney Phil from the
Mhm.
state of Pennsylvania. So it's generally on our local news stations. I imagine around the country as well. They probably do a little clip because it's more of just like a famous folk tradition. Like I said, not necessarily accurate reporting on the weather. I don't necessarily think that we can count on the groundhog or the bear or any other animal that any other country uses, but it's still fun. The one other thing that I wanted to talk about is there's a tradition in a specific region in Hungary regarding scaring away the winter. That definitely falls in line with it's not necessarily accurate that that's happening, but it became a tradition. So tell us a little bit about that region and what they do to try and
Yeah.
scare away the winter.
Yeah, that one is the bushójárás or the bushos walking. Now, that one is a very interesting topic because that is, as to know, that is Mohács. Mohács is under maybe the south part in Hungary and it's very close to Croatia. So during the Turkish time or the Ottoman Empire, when they tried to occupy us, they fled into Mohács and occupy a little bit. The people who lived in there, they just tried to escape from them, and they escape through the nearby, maybe there is a forest, or sometimes it says it is like yeah, it's a winter place, so they hide in there. And
Right.
everybody started to looking out what should we do, how they get back what they had before, so how they get to scare away the Turks. And one of the elder people gathered together, and he told everybody, we need to get dressed up very scary, we need to carve a very scary mask from woods, and we try to chase them out. So they started to do that. They started to get wool because they had a very lots of sheep in there, and also they had lots of other animals, and they have got the woods, carved the beautiful and scarier mask what they had, and they put them on, and they turned into like a monster or something like that. And they, at the nighttime, when the sun is gone down, they ran into the village. So when they saw them, they thought there are monsters, demons, whatever are. They left the Mohács, and the people get to back in there. And now that is a tradition as to maybe like, yeah, to chase away the winter. And they try to make the loudest and scariest way as they do. They commonly do these things. For example, they both the maybe the loudest thing in what they have in their hands, and they also shouting, yelling, and you are repeatedly shouting the same thing again and again. And also there are some typical common verses and poems what they also tell, and that is a very not for the under 18 years.
Yes,
So
inappropriate. Okay.
and yeah, they try to really chase away the winter. And the nighttime, when the night is coming down, they made a very huge among people gathered together on the street, and they made a huge fire and bonfire as well, and they put in there sometimes a coffin,
Okay.
which is called the winter, and they put the coffin into the fire as represented. The winter is gone, the winter is dead, everything is fine, and everything is done. And they just going through the whole town, and they really enjoyed themselves. And yeah, you can go to Mohács. Maybe you should booking maybe a 1 month or 2 months earlier than it will be happen, because it's always overcrowded.
Right,
So
right.
try on November because they are now overloaded.
Yeah, that's good advice if you're interested in going to Mohács and experiencing this tradition, that you should
Hmm.
definitely plan in advance, because even though it's the winter and you don't think that most people travel a lot during the winter, this tradition actually takes place in February. So very important to book ahead for that. It's interesting to me how something historical, as far as chasing out people that were occupying Hungary, turned into chasing away the winter, which is pretty cool. I'm wondering where that transition actually happened, you know? So maybe they did it as a celebration each year just to keep celebrating that they were able to chase away the Ottomans, and then it turned into also chasing away the winter.
Yeah, that is true, because everybody still have this tradition as well, because it is a reminder for us what we have done before and what
Yeah.
we had to do before. And now, yeah, it's very good for to chase away the winter as well. And yeah, it is the burial of Farshang and the winter as well. And
Yeah.
also, yeah, the Mardi Gras, maybe we can call it similar, or maybe a little bit similar carnival for us. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Like I said in the beginning, like a lot of different, places around the world do have like that carnival season that's not only connected to the seasons, but it's also connected to religion, because it's the end of the Christmas holiday season into the Easter season, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah.
February is a fun month in Hungary if you're looking to visit at that time, because there's really great things that you can celebrate when you're there. So I just wanted to thank Eni. She's given us so many great reasons to visit Hungary. There's already a million great reasons, but all of the information behind the architecture and the places and the spaces, and then things in February, such as Farsang and the Busho Járás celebration in Mohács. Definitely a place I know I have on my list to visit. So, Eni, I don't think I can thank you enough for giving us all this great information in this series of 3 episodes. So thank you so much.
So thank you so much to inviting me.
And that's it for this second episode in our series with Eni Almadi on the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed all of the history and folklore that Eni had to share with us. I know that I learned a few new things, and I hope that you did too. We will be back very soon with the 3rd episode, so stay tuned. Also, don't forget to check the show notes for this episode to find out how you can connect with Eni Almadi. If you have feedback or questions about today's episode, or you would like to connect with me at the podcast, you will also find my email, social media information, and podcast website in the show notes. If you've enjoyed this episode and you're interested in learning more about the Hungarian heritage community that we are building, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you. Our theme music is Hungarian Dance by Pony Music, used with special license from Envato Market. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcast so we can continue to connect our modern lives with our Hungarian heritage and grow this Hungarian heritage community. Until next time, goodbye everyone. Sziasztok mindenkinek!